We are back for another Hoop Scoop Media Conference preview. As you can see, we have all three of us taking on this. Have Luke and Kyle joining me for the last real Mountain West Conference preview. Next year, the Mountain West will still exist. The Pac-12 is where a lot of these teams are going, so that's going to be kind of similar, but some teams will be left behind. So, yeah. Sad. But yeah, last year it was the seventh best conference in Ken Palm, but got six teams in the tournament. Kind of worked that all out strategically. Most teams were lower seeds. Kind of got screwed by the committee, but that's different. That's for another day, maybe, or maybe we can discuss it later. But anyway, Utah State, Colorado State both won a game in the tournament. San Diego State, a year after making it to the national championship game, made it to the Sweet 16. Utah State was a team that won the conference regular season. New Mexico, winners of the conference tournament, but San Diego State won the Ken Palm championship, having the highest Ken Palm rating in the league. And yeah, like I said, no new additions, subtractions from the league this year, but next year things get crazy. But anyway, all conference members from last year. Tyson Degenhart back at Boise State, Isaiah Stevens, Jalen Ledee, Darius Brown from Colorado State, San Diego State, and Utah State, respectively, all exhausted their eligibility. And Great Osabor, he is off to Washington. Got a lot of money to transfer there, following head coach Danny Sprinkle, obviously. Second team, Omar Stanley back at Boise State. Keenan Blackshear from Nevada exhausts his eligibility, as did his backcourt mate Jared Lucas. Donovan Dent back in New Mexico. But his front court partner, I guess, or they're not, Dent's not a front court player, but his teammate in the front court, JT Toppin, did not come back. He entered a portal and is off to Texas Tech, where he is going to be really good this year. And Dan Thomas Jr. is back at UNLV, another guy, highly speculation, a lot of speculation. He would enter the portal. He did not. Um, so yeah, that's big. But on the third team, Nick Clifford is back at Colorado State after testing NBA draft waters. Nick Davidson back at Nevada, and Jalen House from New Mexico, Keelan Boone from UNLV, both exhausted their eligibility. We got some coaching changes in the league as well. Jared Calhoun taking over at Utah State after Utah State keeps making two good hires that they can't keep the coaches for long enough. So yeah, Sprinkle left for Washington, but yeah. So what are your thoughts on Calhoun? I know Kyle's a little bit lower on him, but he really won at a place that hadn't really won before.
Yeah, that's the thing. Youngstown, very low funding program. It's a program that I have friends that actually who go there. He did a lot for that program, no doubt about it. But when you're transferring to a program like Utah State that has an amazing fan base, amazing student section, amazing culture, there's standards there. They just completely overachieved last year. They were projected like eighth in the conference, won the whole damn thing. I mean, shoot, I was
Yeah.
low on them last year. Um, so there's a huge standard. And if even if they don't come like top three, top five, like fans are going to be disappointed. If they miss the tournament, fans are going to be disappointed. There's a high bar there. Um, and especially when they're at home against Cleveland State without Tristan and Enaruna, their best player. You have to win that game. Um, you also shouldn't be giving up like 80 points to a team without their best player. And Cleveland State didn't really have a ton without him. They just didn't show up to play on their home floor for the second year in a row. I mean, they lost in a neutral the first year. But they got completely outclassed.
I do remember DJ Burns like hyping the crowd up as they were down by
Oh,
like 10 with 2 minutes left.
that was ridiculous. That was unbelievable. Like, dude, I know you
Yeah,
score in bunches, but that's not happening.
Yeah, I think as Kyle mentioned, the pressure is going to be a lot, and it's a very new roster this year. So it'll be interesting to see how year one
Yeah.
goes for him.
Lots
Now,
of
who's a
talent.
winner though?
He's a great recruiter. I
He's
will
a winner
never
so far.
slander him as a recruiter.
Yeah, that's one thing we can be sure about. Despite his early exits and not making a tournament yet, he can recruit. So we will get into that later. But
Well,
Fresno State, they got Vance Wahlberg. Interesting hire. Creator of the dribble drive offense, which is yeah, he didn't do anything good in his 2 years at Pepperdine. But that was a long time ago. I'm still not super enthused about this hire, but
I'm
let's
kind of in on the roster a little bit. Like they have two really good JUCO guys, like really good. Um,
yeah. What do you think
I
about the
think
hire though? Like the
we'll
hire
see. I
itself.
mean, he's this is more talent than Fresno's had in a while, to be honest here. Fresno, these last, oh my, that other coach was so terrible. I mean, defensively, they would, I guess, show up. But I mean, offensively, they were such a chore to watch. I mean, the shots they would take, so inefficient, sloppy. Um, I think he'll be a breath of fresh air, at least offensively. And defensively, we'll just have to see, I guess. Um, I don't know. I'm kind of in on them. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm open to seeing it play out. I know when we did our coaching grades, I was way out on it, but I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens, especially in a league now where they're kind of on the bottom echelon, and then next year they'll be, or 2 years, whenever the Pac-12 splits.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they'll really be the worst
This guy Amar
program.
Gilliard, 6'5" junior, number 5 ranked JUCO
I think
recruit,
he was a JUCO player of the year. So
23 a game,
we'll see how that
Triton.
works out. But
And then they have another top 50 one,
it'll
15-6.
we'll see. But yeah. Anyway, Wyoming also went through a coaching change with Sundance Wicks taking over after Jeff Linder surprisingly kind of like just like left last minute to take an assistant job at Texas Tech. Sometimes
Yeah,
that's how it works. Assistant jobs at high major programs are just better
I
than
didn't
like
even know he was at Texas Tech. Holy crap.
yeah. But
What a
yeah,
staff.
Wicks was phenomenal in his one season at Green Bay. Really led one of the biggest turnarounds in college basketball. And yeah, definitely familiar with Wyoming. That's where he was before he took the Green Bay head coaching job as an assistant at Wyoming. So can't go wrong with this.
Definitely not. I think long term, I mean, people in the transfer portal era expect things to get turned around in 1 year. I
Yeah.
don't think
And
Wyoming's
I think
like that.
people will give him a little bit of grace this year
Of
just because of
course.
how late he was hired and like he had to
That's
build a
true.
roster
I
with
forgot about
no
that.
one left. So
It
like
was such a late hire. All things considered, I guess he's got some talent here. I think next year will be a more fair assessment, but I at least want to kind of see how they perform, I guess.
yeah.
Will be yeah, definitely a team that I don't know a ton about, but we'll just have to see how it works out.
Hmm.
Yeah, as long as he shows promise, he's on
Yeah.
track to have a solid.
Yes. So yeah, those were the coaching changes. And moving into our all conference awards, freshmen, all that fun stuff. My player of the year is Donovan Dent.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, clean sweep here.
Yeah, not there are definitely some other players strongly in consideration, but
According to Andy Katz, he hasn't broken out yet.
yeah, I don't care about anything Andy Katz
That
says. Quite
that is the
frankly,
worst list I have ever seen. Like, period.
I
Yet in every big game last year, for the most part, he was their best player. I mean, yeah, House and
yeah.
Mashburn were very
Yeah,
inconsistent shooting it last year. Dent was always the steady one. And then at the end of games, who would they go to?
yeah. Especially offensively, Dent was.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
I think he's
Yeah.
already broken out. But
Don't really care about Andy Katz, but he
I
can get
think
to the
he'll get a
rim.
big scoring jump
Yeah.
this year, though, for sure. No doubt about that.
Yeah, definitely a little bit less around him. So yeah, who was your guys' freshman of the year?
This is interesting. Okay. I went with Chris Lockett Jr., Boise State. I'm really in on him. Redshirt
Okay.
freshman. Think he
yep.
starts.
I'm all the way with you there, Kyle. I think he starts in that lineup, and I think
Yeah,
there's a lot of space in that backcourt for scoring.
for sure. Um, Him paired up with an amazing point guard and Alvaro Cardenas, complete floor general. He's going to get a lot of looks. Um,
Yeah.
they're going to be a
Mm,
fun team to watch, I hope, for once.
yes. Not a clean sweep there. I went with Farrell Compton from
Yeah.
San Diego State. Could definitely see the starting lineup this year, and I think obviously kind of trust whatever Brian Dutcher does, but Compton definitely a really good snag for a San Diego State team that kind of recruits pretty well, but Compton's regardless, Compton's a really, really solid get for a really dominant team. I
Scream San Diego State.
Defensive player of the year. Who do you guys go with? There's a few good candidates in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I'm probably just gonna play it safe and go with the Degener. Like, yeah,
Defensive player of the year?
he's really good on that end. Takes a lot of charges. He's
That would
very, I don't know. I feel like he's a really good pick for that. Boise's metrics are always so good on that
he's a
end.
yeah, he's a good defender. He wouldn't have been one of my top choices. I guess it's not. Yeah,
He won
Yeah,
it like 2 years ago, right?
did he?
I believe.
I guess I would know on that. I went with Nelly Jr. Joseph for New
That's
Mexico,
right.
which I think New Mexico is going to be near the top of the league, and he's kind of the face of that front court and protects the rim, and then he's also a good just defender overall as
He
well.
is. You just gotta stay out
Yeah.
of foul trouble. He can get into foul trouble sometimes. Last year it was kind of a problem, but
Yes. Kind of had a rough start, like
he
coming
did.
over like a month before the season, or maybe even less. But
He didn't have his
I
feet
would.
there or something, right?
It was like something like that. It was issue, but I went with Nick Clifford for Colorado
Oh,
State. Really, really athletic, really versatile. Kind of does a little bit everything on that end. Um, Another guy you can't really go wrong with. Also strongly considered Trey Coleman from Nevada.
yeah.
Really, really good defender. But yeah, definitely a solid amount of options, and it's not even considering anyone from San Diego State who we all know they're going to be awesome defensively because it's our every year.
In the DNA.
Yes. But yeah, moving to our all conference teams. Obviously, we all have Donovan down the first team. Um, I also had Dan Thomas Jr. from UNLV. He is a stud.
Yeah, he's the one guy on here, and obviously DeGeneres too, but I think Deaton's gonna have way better numbers because he's the guy on UNLV.
He's like
Um,
when was a reclass point guard ever good?
he is way ahead of
And
his years, man. He was unreal last year. I was
he was
blown away.
he was good right away too. It's not like it
It
took him
was.
time to
It
get
was
into it.
immediate.
I think it was the Creighton win. He had like
Yeah.
25 and 5 or something like that.
It's ridiculous. I'm like,
He,
he's the best player on the team.
Yeah. And I think this year he stands out even more on that roster.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think,
Not a roster I love, but I mean they have Dean and Thomas, so
yes, I do love him. Um, Another player, another guard in the first team, kind of went maybe not like a super popular pick. I went with Nick Boyd for San Diego State, kind of reaching a little bit here. He was a little bit hurt last year at FAU, kind of hurt his overall season, but I think San Diego State's like kind of has a little bit of roster uncertainty. Like they have a
yeah.
good roster for sure, but like
Who's going to be the number one?
who's gonna be your number one guy?
Right.
Obviously, they've had some like front court guys with Ladie last year. They had like Matt Bradley, but I think Boyd could be that guy. Can
could
really
be.
shoot, really solid offensive option.
I think at
I'm
FAU his numbers were kind of down because they just had so many scoring options when he was there. Like he is a
and he was
capable
hurt last
scorer,
year.
and he was hurt. I just think it will take some time for him to get used to being the number one guy. They also do have
But like
Wayne.
I don't know that he's gonna be. He's not like some surefire number one guy
Yeah,
either.
I get the leap. He's on my third team, but I completely understand the leap for sure.
Yeah, I've got him on my second team. I've heard good things coming out that he's kind of emerging in that backcourt compared to
Hmm.
the other options coming in. So
I agree.
I
I
think
think he's the best.
it's a good shout to buy into that stock.
Yes. Who is another guy you have, Luke?
I went with Neat Clifford at the
Yeah.
3 in my 5-man lineup.
Yep.
Yeah, we
I
talked about him a
had
bit defensively, but high impact both ends.
Yeah, he really broke out offensively last year, was atrocious offensively at Colorado and was extremely efficient last year.
So that's
So
actually kind of why I kind of moved him back to my third team. I think
third team is a little bit low, but like
there's a little
I see
regression coming.
I see
I,
that how that could happen.
Like he shot so well last year. He kind of did fall off towards the end of last year. I know the New Mexico game was really rough.
Yeah.
So I see a little regression. I don't think he's a number one option kind of guy either. Like he's a catch and shoot off ball guy. He can slash. He can slash, but he's not like off the dribble. I think Keyshawn Williams is their number one guy. I do stand by
I
that.
think it's maybe someone different, but we'll get into that later in my all
We'll
conference
see.
teams.
Yeah.
So do you have him on your first team then?
I did not. He was on my
Or
third.
all right. So who's another player do you have then?
So I had Kobe Sanders of Nevada.
I have
I
him second
think
team.
he is going to be really, really good. People might get fooled because he's on Cal Poly, but
Yeah.
he's 6'8". He's great size. He just has real scoring ability. I don't know how he ended up at Cal Poly. Nevada doesn't really have a lot of other scorers, especially in the backcourt. He really is a guard. So
Yeah, he's
he's
like
gonna
a
get a
point
lot of
guard.
shots. I think that's why I think he can definitely make a first team.
Nevada has some guys, but I do have
They're
him
not
second
scorers
team.
though. Like Davidson is, but that's it. Like
Yeah.
they don't have like scorers.
But Sanders,
Yeah,
regardless, Sanders 6'8" point guard, point four, whatever you want to call it, but he's
19.
athletic, can get to the rim. Yeah, like Cal Poly, like despite like I am like totally aware when like players come from bad teams and like,
For
oh,
sure.
maybe this guy isn't actually good. Like I think Sanders is really actually good.
Mm,
yeah, I think, and he kind of can fill the role that Blackshear had. Maybe
I
not
agree.
as
Yeah.
effectively as
Maybe
Blackshear,
not
but
as good defensively, but like
Probably not.
he's
But
not bad on that end.
I,
no,
I
definitely.
had Sanders third team, and then you mentioned him a moment ago, Kyle. I had Nick Davidson on the first team. That's
Okay.
the Nevada guy I'm more in
He's
on,
on
I
my
should say.
second.
All right. Yeah, I had Davidson's second team, and my last one with the first team was Tyson Degenhart.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty obvious pick. Like he just
I actually have two Boise guys. I have Amar Stanley too. Amar
okay.
Stanley, I
And I
think
Stanley
he needs
second
the
team.
credit he deserves for how good he was last year. I was blown away again, knowing him from St. John's.
He
How
really improved.
he's had some kind of improvement. He hits threes, free throws. He's good around the rim, amazing defensively. Like he was so key next to Degenhart. I think he was really their X factor last year. I don't think they have as much success as they did, and they definitely don't make the tournament without him. I think he is Degenhart and Stanley are one of the best front courts in the entire country, let
Yeah.
alone the Mountain West.
Hmm.
Yep, I
He,
totally agree.
um, a great first team candidate, and I have him on my first team as the five. So,
Yeah, I went Stanley second team.
mhm.
So is that everyone your first team for?
Yep.
All right. So moving to second team, we already talked about a lot of guys. I had Sanders, Davidson, and Stanley, but one other guy has Ian Martinez back at Utah State after testing the portal. I think he'll probably be their number one guy this year. And he's someone that I really like. Maybe needs to be more assertive. So I
I
feel
was going
like
to say,
this is his like opportunity to do that. But he's a really good athlete, can shoot, can get to the rim, good defensively, efficient. A lot to like about Ian
yeah, his
Martinez.
efficiency splits are so good. He just needs to shoot more. I actually think Mason Falslev is the same exact way. Both of them need to be more aggressive. I'm a big, they're both on my second team, actually. I'm a big Mason Falslev guy. I'm a big Ian Martinez guy. I think
I
they're going to have
false
great
love third.
individual seasons. Yeah, no, they just need to start looking for their own, and they will this year without Darius Brown.
Yeah, I had Martinez second team and then Falslev third team. I think
False love is a
the
mid-range demon.
He is.
yeah,
He's a good driver too.
Mhm.
I think that whole like roster makeup will be kind of even scoring wise, but I think those
I
two have the
agree.
numbers
Yeah.
that'll pop out the most.
12 to
Yes.
15 a game or so, I'd say.
So
Yeah.
My last member, second team, is Nelly Jr. Joseph.
Okay.
Kind of already talked about him. Elite defender, elite rim protector, really dominant inside force. Now he actually has like an off season.
Yeah, I had Nelly on my second team as well, and then my final guy was Alvaro Cardenas from
Yeah.
Boise
Great
State.
pick. Great pick. I had Nelly on my third team. I have Keyshawn Williams on my second team. Kind of, again, rolling the dice, but how healthy he was 2 years ago when he was Northern Illinois' number one guy, and he was some kind of scorer. Can get a shot off over anybody. Quite a good shot creator. I think with Nico Medved, that could be a match in heaven. I'm really buying Colorado State stock, because not just of him, but he's certainly a big part of it. And I think he's definitely the best shot creator on the team, and I think he's definitely got the most tools to be the number one guy. But we'll see how it plays out. They got a couple good creators, so Bowen Born as well. So
Yeah. It's a good segue into my third team because I have Bowen Born there. Was kind of like hurt this year at Northern Iowa, so I'm
here, here.
not like too concerned about his down year, and even it wasn't like that bad. Northern Iowa was also like so too deep, so um but yeah, Bourne is a guy that can really score offensively as a can really shoot, can get to the rim, can create a lot to like about him offensively. And I think it's so hard to replace Stevens, and he's not
Huh.
anywhere close realistically. Stevens was like 5-time all conference, which is like
Jeez.
crazy. Like, but like
Freshman,
Bourne,
sophomore, junior, senior, and super senior year all.
Stevens was just like so good. But Bourne, I like him kind of like becoming healthy, good system for him to like kind of take over.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think he fits Medved like a glove. I actually forgot CJ Nolan's on my second team. I think CJ Nolan is in
Yeah.
for a big jump. Um, I'm not really a true Washington fan, believe it or not.
He's good defensively.
He is. His shot selection, he can't shoot the three. His mid-range is okay. I think he's going to have opportunities, but I trust Nolan more. Um, Nolan's good shooter, good driver, good defender. I think he's going to be the second guy next to Dent. I think he's obviously going to start. But yeah, no, I think Nolan is was a really underrated pickup for Patino.
Yeah, I had Bourne, Falslev, Sanders on my third team, and then another guy I had was Jalen Hill for UNLV. I think that's going to be kind of the second guy behind Didon, and I think that the space is there for his numbers to go up, and I know he missed part of last year with the injury, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
six.
think he can bounce back.
Yeah.
I went with Rob Whaley instead, kind of
He's
on
a
that
game.
same line. Second year out of JUCO was really efficient. It was started kind of second half of the year when Hill got hurt, and
Cottrell was, I think he
yeah,
was better than
he's I
him.
mean, yeah, Whaley's just better than him.
He
So
is.
yeah, I think we could definitely see a big year from Rob
Yeah, I
Whaley.
mean, he broke out last year. He could break out into a conference team this year easily.
Yes.
I probably should have included him now that you said that, but I had Bo Becker of Air Force. My
I had
third.
him too.
Bo
He
Becker is
was
actually really
good.
nice. Um, really good efficiency splits. Air Force, I love Scott. I think Joe Scott is a great coach. He just doesn't have a lot of resources.
I
Great
mean,
offensive
yeah, recruiting you
system.
just like
Right. I
can't
mean, what
recruit
can he
good.
do? But he always does find like these really good players, at least to star the team. Like he doesn't have a lot of else, but like their number one options are usually good. I mean, Petraitis went to Cal. You have Becker, who's been really good, Taylor,
Becker is
solid.
good. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think he's in for a big year. 13 to 15 a game, good efficiency. I mean,
Yeah, I
he
mean,
did that
shot
last year.
basically 40% from three, sixty
Right.
percent from two, and high
He's a tough
volume.
cover.
The final guy for me was Toku Tanamo. I
Yeah.
hope I pronounced that right. Denver transfer now at Wyoming. I think he's probably the number one guy there. and like you guys taking a shot at one of the bottom four teams to get a guy on these
Mhm.
all conference lists, and I think he's the most capable alongside Becker. But
Yeah, he was originally in my third team, but I scratched him for Nelly. I have Cardenas, I have Nick Boyd, Becker, Clifford, and I have Nelly. So that's my
All
third.
right. My last
I really
guy,
like
or
what I really like what Cardenas can do.
I think he's
I
such
didn't
an
really get to
underrated
talk
point
about it,
guard,
but
man.
he
yes,
fits exactly what Boise State's going to need, and he's going to be able to get
They didn't have a
absolutely.
point guard last
Lockett
year.
involved, and then
Yeah.
the big guys as well.
Hmm. My last guy though, Amar Aguilar, don't not 100% sure on that from Fresno State though. JUCO Player of the Year. I don't like Fresno State really. I don't know, but like he was a JUCO Player of the Year, probably gonna be their number one guy. I think he could put up some numbers. I'm intrigued to see, but
I gotta
yeah.
watch film on them. Yeah, no, I didn't get around to
Yes.
it. They look
So
numbers though.
moving to our freshman team. So did we all have Compton at least?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I also had his teammate Magoon Guath. I am buying some Magoon Guath stock.
Yeah, I'm all in as well.
I did not have him, but
Yeah.
I see the vision. I should join the fan club. I
He is
missed that
like
opportunity.
so intriguing. Like he has like skill and like he's like super like lanky.
Yeah, and
He's
he's got a
intriguing.
year in the program as well. So
He's
Sure.
intriguing.
I went with a trio of San Diego State guys on my freshman team. I had Compton, Guath, and then Taj DeGorville.
Okay.
I think he can be a contributor there. And as we talked about the backcourt a little bit, not necessarily a question mark, but space in there for him to make an impact, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah, so I had Lockett, Compton, I have
And I also
McCondry,
had Lockett.
um, I have Papa Nade, and I had James Evans Jr. Evans and
Two UNLV
Nade
guys, right?
are both from UNLV. Diouf is, I forget where he is from. He's a big guy, I believe.
Fresno, maybe?
Yeah, I think he's Fresno. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should get
He's a
some minutes.
four
They don't,
star
yeah, they don't
recruit.
really have, I think, very much in terms of forwards. So, yeah.
Yeah. I went with a different direction with Fresno. I went with Joshua Bonga. Believe he is Isaac Bonga's brother coming over from
Oh.
Germany. Intriguing prospect for me. I had him and I had the two Boise State guys. I had Chris Lock and I had Julian Bowie to close out my team. Boise State is kind of thin at guard. Obviously they have Cardenas at point guard, but very thin at shooting guard. So I think he's a guy that can make an impact. Really good athlete. Um, in-state prospect from Idaho. So definitely think he could assert himself right away. Moving to our breakout players.
I've got one more on the
Or
freshman
okay.
team. I've got Jermaine Washington from San Jose State.
That's a good one.
Shout
I
out John
definitely see the
Rothstein.
vision.
He was hyping him up, I think, yesterday. So I'm
I remember
buying
like
in.
I was like talking about it and like I was like doing a deep dive on San Jose State that morning. I'm like, like I'm wondering like if Jermaine Watson can be like good because like he's like their only point guard on the roster. And then John Rothstein tweets about him like, well, it kind of gives me a little bit of assurance. So
Yeah, I have to assume there's a lot of minutes available for him, and that'll only
Mhm. Yeah.
increase as the year goes.
yeah, I definitely see it. But breakout players, who Luke, who is your first breakout player?
I had True Washington. You guys were kind of out on him a bit, but I think so much scoring in that backcourt last year. I think he's bound to take a step up. Maybe not efficient, but I mean, we saw Mashburn put up giant numbers at New Mexico even when he wasn't efficient. So
Yeah, definitely interested to see how he grows offensively. Definitely was hit or miss. Had some really good offensive stretches. Had some really bad offensive stretches. But
yeah, he was good right away when
yeah,
He
I
was.
forget who was the first guard out.
Mashburn and House were like both out.
They were for
Yeah.
a while. Yeah, it was him and Dent really running the show for a while.
Yeah.
He's good when he's driving downhill. True's got a really good left hand. It's when he starts to settle for a lot of the long mid ranges. Obviously, he's not a great 3-point shooter. He's just
Yeah.
got to improve his jumper a little bit, and I think he can really be that guy for sure.
But his defense will keep him on the floor, so
Well,
he'll have offensive opportunities.
that is very true. Yeah,
But my first guy was Rashawn Mbemba for Colorado State. Really liked him as a freshman. Big body. Um, Kind of a good like Jill Scott replacement.
for
And
sure.
I also
Good
had
one.
Kai and Evans just going right into both Colorado State guys.
We probably have a lot of the same breakout players.
I really like Kai and Evans.
I think Kyan
I
Evans is going to get a lot of point guard minutes.
yeah, I mean, we talked about Stevens being gone. I think Evans kind of has to come in and be the creator for others, the playmaker,
For sure.
because yeah, Williams and Bourne are more scoring oriented. So I think
Mhm.
Hmm.
you can't play all three of them.
Yeah, that's the
Probably
thing.
not defensively, but I think
He'll get a lot of
yeah. So
six-man minutes, and even if that's his role, that's a breakout. Like he's going to be playing a lot, no doubt.
Yes.
yeah,
So, and I think Mbemba brings some rim protection they haven't had. So, no, I think
Yeah.
that's
He's
really
like
positive.
so
He is.
physical underneath. So
uh,
let's see,
I
who
got
else do we have?
I've got a San Diego State duo. I've got Miles Heidi and Miles Bird.
Yep.
Okay,
Let's go.
I have Heidi.
I have both of them
Yeah,
as well.
I like Heidi. I think in that front court, it's mainly Guath, Compton, Heidi, and then Jared Coleman Jones. And then I think Bird on the wing is going to be really impactful both ends.
I agree.
Mhm.
Miles Bird, I think his stats, if you just look at his stats, I don't think they tell the full story with him. He had a weird
I
role
mean,
last year.
the thing is, it was at 14 minutes a game, and he still like
Right.
has
He
four
was
three
aggressive.
one
He
one
looks for a
one. Like
shot.
he's
I
yeah
respect that. He's trying to get minutes. It was a really weird year for San Diego State on the wing. Like Reese Dixon Waters wasn't right all year. He was hurt. He played hurt. Really wasn't good. They had to call on guys, and Bird was really aggressive. He definitely took some bad shots, but like I feel like he's going to have more of an opportunity this year. He's a really good defender. He's got good size. He's a really good athlete too. He's very, very gifted. I just think he's got to put it all together, and I think he can.
yeah. I think he slots kind of into what Micah Parrish was for them
I
last year.
agree. I could see
He's
that.
going to be the San Diego State player that would win Defensive Player of the Year.
No,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
But yeah, I have Heidi. I considered Bird probably definitely just gonna break out. We'll see what San Diego State does with the starting lineup. I think there's multiple different options they could choose
definitely.
there. I went with Tyler Rolson for Nevada. I think like he's kind of going to be their starting point guard. Definitely going to share ball handling duties with Kobe Sanders, but stepping as a sophomore, I believe he'll be in the starting lineup. So the guy that was played about every game as a freshman. So
Oh yeah, he's
intrigued
good.
by that. And my last guy was Latrell Davis for San Jose State. Another guy who had some big games as a freshman. I think he should probably be a starter this year. On a San Jose State team that kind of has some pieces, but kind of an unclear direction. So I think he could see some big breakout scoring wise.
Yeah, I got a lot of breakouts. I'm gonna just list them off. I got
How many do you have?
Brooklyn Hicks of UNLV. He had a good year last year, in limited minutes. I think he's gonna get more time. Like UNLV is not of a lot of scoring, a lot of question marks. He was pretty good when he filled in, so trusting him, to get a bit of a jump. I'm a big Braden Housley fan from Southern Utah. He's at Utah State. His numbers don't jump off the page, but he was very quick off the dribble, good decision maker. He's still very young, but I think he's going to get some good backup point guard minutes for Utah State. He will definitely get time. Um, I have Philip Borchivin from Arizona at New
I
Mexico.
believe it's pronounced Yeah,
It's tough.
Borov. I I kind of forgot. Borovichinen, maybe.
Yeah, and I could definitely see him getting some backup forward minutes behind Amzil. Really good shooter, good off the dribble.
Yeah,
Intriguing for sure.
yeah,
Um, I have Nigel Cook of Wyoming. I actually think this is a
yeah.
really good one.
I like his potential.
He was a 6'6" freshman last year. He played a lot because of the Armageddon that
I
happens
don't think
every
he
year.
played though. Like I think he
He played a
got
couple
hurt.
games.
I think he's still a freshman technically.
Yeah, he's technically still
Yeah,
a freshman, but I vividly remember him playing.
He play. He Yeah.
I think there's a note on it in the roster sheet. I was
There
looking at it.
is.
Yeah, played briefly, but listed as redshirt freshman.
I think maybe they just like completely just pulled him off like the end of the
He
bench
must
because
have
half the
gotten
roster
hurt.
was hurt.
I
And he did good. Like I was intrigued when he played. I didn't know who he
definitely
was.
definitely someone to keep an eye on.
And my last one is from Air Force, 7'1" center, Wesley Selichkowski.
How is
He's
he gonna fit in a plane?
that's what I said last year when he played in garbage time in a game. I'm like, what the heck? How is he even here? But he's intriguing. So they kind of want to run the offense through him as like a five with the ball. Joe Scott likes to have his bigs out on the perimeter. In dribble handoff stuff. He likes to have his bigs on the top of the key so his guards and forwards can slip backdoor. So that's how they're going to try and use him. I don't know how many minutes he gets. He played a bit towards the end of the year when, they were just trying to see what they have, but he's a project big, and I think he'll get more time this year. So
Yep. Any more breakout players for you,
lots.
Luke?
Oh no, Rollison was my last one.
All right. So moving to our top 10 transfers, we'll see how good we line up here. Number one, I had Nick Boyd.
I had Kobe Sanders, number one.
Yeah, I had Cardenas at one. Boyd was second.
All right, and I had Sanders at second.
I had Keyshawn Williams at two.
And then yeah.
Yeah, I had Boyd.
Three, I had Bowen Born.
I had
Yep, Bowen
Cardenas
Born
at
train
three.
here.
Um,
And Cardenas, I had slotted in at fourth.
I had Noland at four.
All right.
I had
And
Tynamo at four. I try to keep my transfers in line with the all conference teams, even if it
yeah,
doesn't make sense some of the time, I guess.
Sometimes I
But
don't. Like, there's times where I think
yeah,
there'll be guys that are just going to put up high volume numbers because they're on a bad team, and I might not have them like that high on a transfer list because they're not great overall players and they just average like a lot of numbers. But in this conference, that's not really the case. That's more of the case in like conferences where there's a lot of bad teams.
yeah. Number five, I had Keyshawn Williams.
Five, I had Nick Boyd.
I I had Tynamo at five. I had Kobe Sanders four, but
Okay. Number six from the NAI, I had Javen Buchanan for Boise State.
Okay. I like that. At six, I had Alban Gadaretse from Stetson. Really talented big.
Yeah, Utah State. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I went with another Utah State guy. I went with Tucker Anderson, the Central Arkansas transfer. I like his game, skilled forward, can
hmm
kind of do it all,
He's
can
He can
good.
shoot,
shoot.
He
and
broke out last year. I mean, he was a freshman, but like I
yeah,
didn't see him being
He,
that good.
yeah,
yeah,
he was
came
really
out
good.
came out of literally
Came out of
nowhere.
nowhere.
Yes. Number seven, I have Day Day Hall for San Jose State. Coming from Stephen F. Austin was kind of hurt this year, but he was really good 2 years ago. I think he'll be ideally back to being really good.
I took go at seven, Wyoming.
Yeah, I had Nolan seven. The
And number eight, I had a different Utah State guy, Dayton Albury.
Okay.
I went.
You
You
go.
got a call. Okay, I went Keyshawn Williams, Colorado State at eight.
Yeah, he's just coming off an ACL tear, so yeah, it could go a
Yeah,
variety of ways. Um, I have Amara Gilliard, from Fresno.
All right, number nine is where I had Jalen Crocker Johnson. Colorado State was the
Name.
rookie of the year in OVC. Solid big man.
Yep. I am at nine.
I had a different big, Jared Coleman Jones, another three name big, but I liked what I saw when I did my San Diego State preview.
Both
Watch some
JCJs.
highlights of him.
He's a high upside
Yeah,
guy. I definitely think he's going to be really good.
Yes,
yeah.
but 10, yeah,
10, I have
I
Wayne
mean,
McKinney from San Diego
okay.
at San Diego State.
I had Noland at 10.
and then I had Will McClendon at San Jose State. Um, yeah, high major experience.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
see where it goes there, but I think he should start. So
It's true.
All right, so yeah, then we'll go through our every team in the conference from worst to first, starting with Air Force. I have Air Force. I had them at 10th this year.
I got them last. Yeah, I hate to put them last with Joe Scott, but I don't know.
yeah, I've got Air Force last, and I mean they're kind of out of place in the Mountain West, especially portal
Yeah.
NIL. Like
Yeah,
Becker looks
I like
really good.
Becker and Taylor is a
I like
good
Becker and
duo.
Taylor. Yeah,
And
Um,
like
don't miss
Joe Scott,
Petrus. Mm.
Joe Scott like makes him like better than they should be too.
Oh, always. I mean, they're really competitive with damn near everybody somehow with that roster, which is incredible in itself. Not every coach would be able to do that.
Yeah. Last year was a little tough, but
It
the year
was.
before
They
they were
were
like
tough 2 years
yeah,
ago.
they were competitive. They were like sticking with some teams, beating a few teams. They
They always seem to be New Mexico's kryptonite.
yeah, they did they beat them last year?
Yeah.
uh,
The pit.
their two
They
wins.
did.
Yeah, were at New Mexico and at UNLV, right?
They beat
Oh yeah.
UNLV by like
By
30.
about 40. Yeah,
UNLV lost to them in Southern by combined like 80 points. So
yeah.
I thought the Southern or was it the Southern gonna blow up? It was kind of blow
It
up.
was
it
like
was
Yeah,
like
twelve.
30 and then they
that's
got it
tough.
down to
UNLV did some
15.
weird stuff last year, and then they beat like Creighton like by a
That's
million.
UNLV. Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's what they'll do. But anything else in Air Force? It's kind of hard because like there's not like newcomers to talk about. We don't know anything about freshmen because like it's like kind of like a weird
I guess like Selichowski,
non-traditional.
like I want to see if he plays at all. He played a little last year.
You
Um,
should.
yeah, I kind of want to see Air Force with a big because they never have a big.
Just, yeah, definitely not a school that can really get bigs, but somehow
Right.
they landed a 7 foot guy. Yeah, he definitely saw some minutes toward the end of last year that could be leading into him seeing minutes this year, but Air Force plays slow. They shoot a lot of threes.
Yeah,
Um, kind of contrasting styles, but that's what they do.
lots
So
of cutting. Yeah,
yes. Next team up is going to be San Jose State. I have Spartans sitting at eighth.
same. I got them 8. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got them eighth as well. I think right now you have to trust Tim Miles the most out of those four coaches in the bottom four. I I like the upside of Sundance Wicks at Wyoming, but yeah,
Yeah,
I think
rough.
I gotta trust Miles.
Yeah, Tim Miles, really good coach. Interesting roster. I'm not they don't have like shooting or a point guard, but like I kind of still like the pieces they do have.
Right.
I mean,
It's
that's
talented.
the Jermaine Washington freshman breakout.
As long
Yes.
as Donovan Yap and like Will McClendon don't play a lot, like that would be please like oh man. Um
I
not
like Uduje.
I am
Uduje
a big
really
Josh
bad
Duje
for
fan. I
Utah
feel like he
State.
should have gotten more looks at Utah State, but they were a really talented team. They had a lot of good creators. I think Duje is a starter. I think he will be maybe the number one guy, but Latrell Davis, I think, could also
What
be.
about Day Hall though?
He could be, I guess. I don't
Day
know
Hall
a
was
ton of.
really good 2 years ago when he was healthy at Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah,
I'm
he just doesn't shoot the three very well. Just
Well,
rough.
no one does on this team at all.
He's at
I mean
25%.
Yeah.
No
The
one
other the
is
other thing
much
is this
better.
team lost like their big three, and they only won 2 games last year in conference play, which
They
was
lost a lot
probably
of
somewhat of
close.
an embarrassment. They had
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 close games
They
run.
lost to San Diego State at the buzzer at home.
They were bad last year though. Starting new though.
Sure.
Um, Robert Vihol is back. He was hurt all last
I
year.
like Robert Viola. I think he's
Um,
yeah.
they also got some other big guys like Adrame Diange was hurt a little bit last year, but really good rim protector. Hasn't
Choi.
lived up to his potential. Shoal Mariel is, I guess he's like insurance. Like he's,
He's just a goat. All right.
you can play him like 5 minutes a game, and I guess feel fine with that. I also got like Sutton and Ganga from Seton Hall. He's he has upside, maybe not. Maybe he doesn't have upside, but like it's like he is theoretically has upside. I don't know if he actually does
Theoretical
though.
upside. We'll create that term.
Any other thoughts on Spartans, Luke?
Yeah, you guys covered it all. I think Jermaine Washington, that's the guy to watch. I'll buy stock in on the back of
Yeah.
Frosty.
For sure.
Their other freshmen, Ben Roseborough and Cameron Patterson, are also like slightly intriguing. Like nothing that like I'm crazy about, but like solid freshmen, I think. So we'll see. But next team up, Fresno State. I had them last.
I got them ninth.
I've got Fresno 10th.
Mm.
I don't I don't know. I don't really buy. I don't know what I think. You see, they got Zayon Collins,
Where's he
I
who
from?
have
like,
not.
do you not remember that when he like killed a guy because like that he was like driving. I think it was like high while driving or something.
Mountain West just loves their lore, man. They've had
Because he
quite
was
the
committed to UNLV. He was like a top 50 guy. He was committed to UNLV and like under like TJ Otzelberger, like those years.
jeez.
He was
He's
like a
still
top 50
around.
guy. Was at Salt Lake um Community College, which is like a really good JUCO last year. And he's a point guard.
Hmm. Okay. Well,
We
is he
already
clear
yeah,
to
we already
play?
covered. That's a question for Austin, I guess.
What?
Is he clear to play? Clear to
I mean,
play?
he played a JUCO last year, so
All
like,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, he
I,
spent his time in prison. He spent like 50 days in jail. Like, yeah, I don't know.
He
I don't
that's
know.
didn't
It's
some
just an
did his
that's some
intriguing storyline to follow.
high level experience there. But I think we already talked about Aguilar a bit, the top 5 JUCO guy. Another guy I kind of like is David Douglas Jr.,
Yes.
yeah,
the will be sophomore from Green Bay, efficient as a freshman,
he was.
9-2, 37% from three. I think
They got your
he's
guy
another guy that
Morset,
could be
Kyle.
something.
Oh, let's go. That's why I bought stock.
He tore his ACL last year, so I don't know if
Is
I
he's
is
know.
gonna be
he
ready.
yeah, is he back right away or no?
He's recovering apparently. I don't know when he's going to be back, if at all. I don't know.
I don't know.
Probably not. It's a safe bet. Yeah, because if he doesn't play, they're gonna need a big to step up. Yeah, they had another JUCO guy, who also played at D3 and Jasir Tremble. Don't know a ton about
It's
him.
kind of that's like a really low level of JUCO, so
I
kind of like
feared it
never
was.
really know what you're getting from like guys like
Yeah,
that. But Collins will start at point guard, I think.
right. Yeah, no,
Um,
I felt like that was the case.
I guess I could.
Kind of
I
depends if
mean, they're
Sex.
gonna
Oh,
be
wait,
there. I mean,
Sex.
they're gonna be fast. I mean, yeah, because I don't think Doof is like a five. Like he's like a lanky. Um,
He could be Eduardo Andres, kind of, but he could defend.
and our Andre was like a big guy though.
He was. He was thin though.
I
This
mean,
guy's
like
thin
he wasn't
too.
like big, but like Andre was like built.
They're intriguing. At
They're
least,
intriguing, but I don't think they'll be good.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know. We'll see if it translates to winning.
they'll play faster, so like at least it's like kind of fun to watch because of dribble
Sure.
drive.
Yeah. breath of fresh air from Fresno teams of the past that would play at a snail's pace.
Yeah. I really don't have any other thoughts. But like kind of they're like bad but like intriguing. Like I I kind of see division. I'm
The
not
fact
sold
that
on
they were able to
Auburn.
get JUCO guys that are that good is kind of
Well, I
cool.
mean, they weren't able to get any like transfers. So like
I mean, that's kind of expected when you have a random hire like that.
but like this is like I mean like the Mountain West like Juku guys don't really go high major anymore.
It's true.
But yeah, Aguilar was a really good get. So can't go wrong with that. Next up, Wyoming. I have them ninth.
I got them 10th. Mm.
I've got them nine. Um, yeah, I think the long term upside with Wicks is there, but he kind of was at a complete disadvantage this year with the I don't know 2 month late start to the portal.
I who I don't know what I'm just like so like confused about this roster. Like
It's the
who
most
are
confusing roster ever. I
which is
swear.
like fair because he
Of
like had
course.
nothing to work with. But
I will say, talking through Fresno a minute ago, now I'm kind of more in on Fresno than Wyoming.
I'm way more
Yeah.
on Wicks than Wahlberg though.
True.
Personally.
Yeah,
That's what made a difference for me.
Yeah, it's true.
This team like kind of has pieces, but like not really. Like, um,
They went with another
it
Fort
has a
Lewis.
they
I
have a bunch of pieces, but I don't think any of them are like
good.
big pieces.
Yeah,
I know Tanamo's the guy who's gonna stand out the most, but yeah.
Hmm. Like
yeah.
Jordan
He does,
Nesbitt's terrible. Oh,
but he's bad, but he's like intriguing, which is like I don't want to be intrigued by him, but like he's so athletic. He wasn't even like bad at St. Louis. Somehow got like worse on like a terrible Hampton team. But he's like
Dante Allen's
so
decent,
inefficient.
but he's
Dante Allen was like just been decent at Western Kentucky. Scotty Ibube is like super efficient, but like I don't know if he
mm,
can play that much. Like he's
Oleg
we'll
was all
see.
right last year, but he was just really clumsy. Can't
Yeah.
catch the ball. Like he doesn't do basic things that a big man needs to be good at. He doesn't defend either. So there's
I
him.
I kind of wonder if Kobe Newton can
Yeah,
get a lot more usage because he's a very efficient shooter
he
and
He's
is.
just a shooter though.
That's
yeah,
true.
but
I don't think he's an off
if
the dribble guy.
if you can kind of have Nesbitt more as your point and then Newton more off
I
ball, I feel
guess.
like.
I think Obi Agum is going to be our point guard though. JUCO guy from Fort Lewis, same
Yeah, I'm
JUCO
about
or
to
not
say,
JUCO,
well,
D2 guy,
Yeah,
same
D2.
D2 as a Quellcott, who
I think Cook's another
big,
guy to
big
look out
name.
for. I think Cook is going to start. I definitely would have him starting at like the three. I mean, I don't see who else I'd put at the three. If you're starting Jordan Nesbitt, oh my goodness.
But yeah, Nesbitt's I hate that
Austin.
Nesbitt's like kind of intriguing because like there's a world where he's like good, but like
I
he's
watched like the shots he would take at Hampton.
it's
Oh my
bad. It's
goodness.
bad.
It's like he
It's
plays for an
terrible.
AAU team.
Yeah, yeah. Hampton basically was an AU team. I
Being
I
33%
being
and
positive.
24 from three.
Yeah, I don't even want to know how many shots he was taking either.
A lot.
Anyway, next team up is going to be Colorado State. Kind of finished at the back of like the good teams last year. Kind of everyone kind of split their conference wins, but yeah, still made a tournament, still won a game. I have them at fifth this year.
I got them third.
I've got them seventh. I've got them on that small end of the top seven again.
Okay.
Losing Stevens is
Um,
tough. It's
that's yeah, that's why I'm kind of not necessarily out on them, but just less in than the other teams. I think Steven's a big loss. Joel Scott's going to be a big loss too. But
Cartier
I think what
also.
helps is like the top five of the Mountain West this year after like the top three. Just I don't love anybody. Like I think they could definitely break it. That's just me, but
I've kind of got 1, 2, and 3 together, and then 4 through 7 are
Yeah, four through
really close.
seven's
Mm,
not. I think they could even. I don't know.
I think
Keyshawn
this team
Williams
is
is going to
gonna.
be like kind of the make or break for
Of
this
course.
team, I think, and Bourne to an
And my
extent.
rankings respect that. They reflect that. I think he will be. Even if he's a 13 to 15 a game scorer, I think that's enough. Like Bourne's gonna get
Oh yeah,
his.
that would be like over. That
Nee
would be
Clifford's gonna get
amazing.
his. He's gonna be a great spacer. Ethan Morton's going to bring them great defense. The reason I like this team more because I think they just have more defensive pieces this year. Morton's a great on-ball defender, great perimeter guy.
Yeah,
Doesn't do a lot,
yeah,
obviously,
it does
It's
offensively.
nothing
it's
offensively.
it's
Um,
just the thing that you have to yeah, you have to sacrifice one or
you
the
do.
other really,
But here's the
especially
thing,
in the
like
backcourt.
you could put all that scoring around him and it could like work. Like you could put Nick Clifford around him to play off ball, who could also defend. You could put Keyshawn next to him who can create. And then you have a great rim protector, Rashawn Mbemba. I mean, these are things that Colorado State has not had. Like Cartier was great, but he couldn't protect the rim. Like he was a good
No,
scorer. He's good around the rim.
Mbemba's not really like a rim protector though, but he's more of like just like physical. But Crocker Johnson's like somewhat of a rim protector.
Yeah, I mean, between the two, I think you get enough rim protection to make a difference. And then you got Kyan Evans, who we all like.
Yes,
Um,
really, really in on
Really
him.
good guard off the bench. Jalen Lake's back to solid piece.
Yeah, he
Um,
is what he is.
Bourne's another
Nicola
X factor
Japa.
too. I mean, what Bourne are we gonna get? Like the good Bourne from 2 years ago or the
He
bad
wasn't
Bourne?
healthy last year
I get
though.
it, but
Like,
And the
you
whole
can
like
shot
makeup
chuck
of the team will be
sometimes.
different, I feel like, because now you're focused more on Bourne and Williams, who are more like,
Sure.
I don't know, need bigger volumes, whereas Stevens is gonna create and
That is
then
true.
take the looks that he gets.
Yeah, they're not really guys that like create for others. That is the thing.
I like
They're
this
figure
team.
out the
I
point
like
guards.
Nico Medved, but Stevens was
Yeah.
so good.
We'll see. Now, if this roster was in the Mountain West last year, I'd probably have them around 7. I just think
Yeah.
um the top 5 to 7 this year is a little down. Like I'm down on Nevada, down on a couple
I mean,
teams.
everyone's worse, I think.
Probably if there's a team I could argue is better, we'll get to it. But
Yes, I think I know where you're going.
um
Anyway,
That's
though, we'll get to that when we get to that. But New Mexico next, I have them third.
I got them second.
I've got the Lobos second, and I think that's all on Donovan Dent's shoulders.
Yeah. A lot will be on his shoulders. I think a lot will be on Nelly's shoulders, a better complete season from him. I think Amzil is going to have a much better season start to finish. He was amazing second half of the year. Um, I think he needs to start day
Definitely did
one.
not definitely did not live up to his full potential last year.
Yeah, he got off to a weird start. He didn't get consistent minutes. He was coming off the
Yes.
bench in a weird role,
Which is
which
like transfer things. Like transfers are always better second year. I mean, usually.
second half of the year, exactly. When
Or
he
like
got
second
more
year in the
consistent
program
time, he
too.
was huge in the Mountain West tournament.
Mm,
When he gets consistent minutes, I think he will be good. I think Noland is a real sleeper. I think in Patino's run and gun system, he can be really good. The freedom of movement, the freedom of pace that New Mexico plays with. I don't think he really had a lot of that in North Texas, slow paced
yeah.
team. So
I,
I think he could take a
he-
step up.
yeah, he's not Jalen House, but that's kind of the guy I see him like
Right.
filling more of that role, like a good defender, and then he can also
I mean, I think
score.
Dent's the point
I mean,
guard. I think Nolan's probably the two. Um,
yeah, I think it lines up that way as well,
Yeah,
but like
two or three.
I
I
think
mean,
like
no one's big. No one's
he is. He's a
the guy
hefty
that
guy.
provides the defense there, and then
him and True. I mean, Dennis, elite defender too. Those three.
Yeah, they're
New
gonna be
Mexico's going to be
pests.
a good defensive team.
They
Looking
should
at this
be.
further, this is going to be a
I
really good defensive team. Even though
this
House
is this
is
is
so good.
based or like off that last conversation of who could be better than last year. I think New Mexico definitely could be better than
I
last year.
agree. This was actually the team I was referring to. I think New
Really,
Mexico is going to be better than last year. I do. I think regular season wise in conference. And the reason I think
Toppin and House were
here's
so
the
good.
thing, right?
Mashburn,
I
whatever, but like
They had a lot
you
of trip
replace
balls
Top.
in conference play. They lost to some bad teams. I think a lot of that does also fall on Patino, but um, at the same time, I think the Mountain West is weaker, and I think as a result, maybe they'll be a little bit higher in Ken Palm because of it.
I could.
Um,
I mean, Denton Noland are like way less erratic as top guys than I mean
yeah,
Mashburn wasn't even really a top guy last year, but
no,
House. And then
he got relegated to
the
bench duties.
yeah, the five front court guys, I think like none of them are top end, but like you have Amzil, Nelly Jr. Joseph, um, Philip, and then Atiki Ali, Atiki, and
Oh,
Ibrahim Sako.
yeah.
I kind of think like Sacco's like sneaky, like kind of
He
good.
is. I also think they do have shooting this year too. Like Nolan can shoot, Amzil can shoot. Quentin Webb and Appelhans might get a couple minutes here and there. Quentin Webb had some
They have
good
good
minutes
freshmen
on.
too. Like Loki, like Dotson
I didn't
and
know much about the freshman this year.
Dotson's pretty solid. I think I mean, he's going to be the backup point guard. They don't really have anyone
Yeah.
else.
The
And I
one
think he's like
freshman
good
I
enough.
do know a ton about is Jovan
Yes,
Milicevic.
he's also
He
going
is
to play.
really good. Like he is like a 6'10" shot creator on the break.
He's like more of a wing than like a big,
He's
right?
crazy. I could send some footage after this, but like
Yes.
it's insane what he can do. I don't see a ton of minutes this year because they got all these forwards, but like I
Mm.
hope he gets time just to see how he looks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought about Dotson with my freshman team because yeah, like you said, he's probably the fourth guard in the rotation and should play
Hmm.
12 to 15 minutes a game.
Yes. TKLA TK is solid too. He's basically
He
it's
is.
like Nelly Jr. Joseph, but like yeah, basically
But
just
like
like Nelly Jr.
for when Nelly's in foul trouble, yeah.
Right,
And
exactly.
then
And that will happen. I
Atik
mean,
is going to get like 3 fouls in 2 minutes, and they're going
and
to
then they'll go
put
to the other, they'll
in
go to Sacco.
yeah, definitely a different look than last year. But
I think
like
it'll just take some getting used to for us to kind of embrace this new look New Mexico team, but I think it's really going to work. That's my thoughts on it anyway.
I can get with it. Next up is San Diego State. Though, despite being clearly the best team in conference last year, I would say, I mean, they were the best team. Maybe not clearly, but like they were the best
They
team in
played
the
the toughest
conference.
schedule.
Yeah, I have them.
Can we talk about the fact the Mountain West has 11 teams and plays 18 games instead of 20? Is that getting fixed this
I
season or
hope
no?
so, but I don't know. So,
Probably not. I don't know. I yeah, that's stupid. I have them I have them second, but I might want to have them first. I might want to change that.
hmm, okay. I have them fourth, and like this
Really?
is a team that I like. It is. There's young pieces I like on this team, but
Okay, I can maybe get with that.
like I've been like even saying last year, like this is a team that I'll enjoy watching. Like they're saying they could say teams like last year, I did not enjoy watching them. This year I think I will enjoy watching them. I just have to see if how they do. Like I have to see who's the number one option. There's a lot of question marks for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I've got them third compared to New Mexico and the other team I have in front of them. I think there's more question marks, but I do the upside.
I trust Dutcher, of
The
course.
upside maybe isn't the best in the conference, but I would say
But
it's probably
the
on
floor
par.
is so high. So
Offensively, though, like even last year, like outside of Leedy, they were so bad offensively. Like they were unwatchably bad offense. Like they almost lost to UC San Diego because
usually San Diego is
they
good. All
were
right.
sneaky
Well,
good.
let's
I
let's
get
stop the
that.
Triton slander.
I get it, but my goodness, they couldn't hit anything outside
It
of Leedy
was
that game. That was such a painful watch. And they had a ton of games like that. Like Parrish, Resticks and
yeah.
Waters needs to be back to normal.
He's
I
That
think,
he's
needs to
subbing
yeah,
out.
happen.
I think
Um,
Nick Boyd can help to fix that.
Boyd can help. I actually
I'm
like Wayne McKinney. I'm a Wayne McKinney fan for sure.
I'm trying to like figure out what I think their starting lineup is going to be. I kind
I
of think
don't
it's going to
know.
be McKinney, Boyd, Bird, Compton, and Coleman Jones.
I think they
I
could
would,
go
yeah,
Heidi too. I don't know.
I think Boyd, Waters, Bird, Compton, and then your five is probably Heidi or Coleman Jones. Probably like more, or maybe it's
Yeah,
Coleman Jones and then it's Heidi later on.
I like Coleman Jones. Like
Yeah, I
I
talked about him earlier. Like I like what he provides, and he can also shoot it well.
sure.
yes. Magoon Guaf. I loved upside down.
He has an amazing name.
They also have Thakbor Majak. Um,
BJ Davis is somebody, right? Big
we thought he'd
recruit
be good last
last
year.
year, barely played. Maybe he gets a little more run this year. I don't know.
I could see that.
I'm not out on
Kimo
him. I
Ferrari.
don't think there's a reason to be out on him. I haven't seen enough of him to be out on him, but um DeMarshe Johnson actually played a bit towards the end of the year, but
I
I
don't
don't
think
think the
he'll
minutes are there
play.
for him anymore with all
I
these new.
wonder. I wonder. I wonder if Kimo Ferrari plays.
Oh yeah.
He can shoot it.
He
He had
can.
that one game where he had like 10 threes.
Yeah, I see that. San Diego State with Coleman Jones and him. Like, I mean, I don't know how many attempts Coleman Jones shoots a game, but there's some efforts to getting shooting. McKinney can shoot it decently too. Same with Boyd. Um,
Yeah, and I think McKinney can shoot it better when he's not like the main guy either.
yeah, and he was on San Diego, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'll enjoy watching this team for the first time in a while. That's for sure. I think they'll be playing at a faster pace. Especially with Nick Boyd. Like Nick Boyd is a push the pace kind of guard. I don't think Dutcher is going to change that. No, I definitely think this is going to be a much faster San Diego State team than we're used to, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I kind of trust Dutcher. Definitely some question marks, but I think they have the pieces. So I'm not terribly concerned. Next up is going to be UNLV. I have them seventh.
I could see that honestly. I have them fifth, but
I went right in between at sixth.
I really I strongly dislike their transfer
nah, I
class.
don't like their transfers either.
Strongly
I don't think this
uh,
is a good roster. I just have them five.
like the returners are good. They have a good JUCO
Deaton
guy,
and
Jeremiah
Whaley, I think will
Cherry.
get them five. Like
They
I think
have good freshmen, but they whiffed in the portal.
whiffed.
They whiffed.
Jace
Jalen
Whiting.
Bedford was on like, I mean, he can score like ish, but like he was in a bad Oral Roberts team.
I think Bedford's a decent off-ball guy next to Deaton,
Not
but
to
he can't
start
create.
though. Not
But
to
yeah, he's not a
start.
starter. Exactly. He can't defend. No way.
Yeah,
Jace Whiting might be the best get out of that transfer class. I'm not
yeah.
gonna lie. The guy
I
who will
like it. I
mess
like
things up the
him as
least.
like a backup point guard.
Exactly.
Like
That's where I would like
Like
Jace
you
White.
no,
can't go
I
wrong with
like
Jace Whiting.
I think he fits his role the best out of those
I agree.
other four because
Why did they
as
take
a Minnesota
Jaden Henley?
Jaden Henley makes
Fan, yeah,
no sense.
Jaden Henley bad on a bad Minnesota team.
And he
Went to
went to
DePaul
DePaul.
And then he goes
and
to
he was worse.
DePaul.
And he was worse.
Rishwan,
Cottrell's
like
made of glass.
Rishwan has had some good shooting seasons. I don't.
Then they
He
have
was like
this
really good,
guy,
then really bad.
Jeremiah Cherry's top
Yeah,
15
JUCO
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 guy.
guy,
Big guy.
intriguing. But yeah, we'll see how healthy Jalen Hill is. But I think
Yeah,
him and
that's the
Whaley.
thing. Like, I don't know how Hill's gonna be. I don't know. He used to be someone I really liked 2 years ago, but
I,
Yeah, I mean he was good before he got hurt last year,
for
so I
sure.
can't really put that against him. But Thomas is going to carry this team. I think that's
Yeah.
kind of
Thomas and
the
Whaley.
thing.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think they're not as good as other teams, but I think they're better than like the bad teams. But
I
we'll
agree.
see. Like I could definitely see them like being sneakily good. I just like really I can't get past their portal class. Like
Yeah, it's bad. I remember I
yeah, it's
saw them posting their portal gets. I was just cringing. I'm like, are we seriously like making posts for these guys? Like, what are we doing? It's UNLV. You guys do have money in the basketball program. Like,
ideally.
it's not
Yeah.
their football team.
yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, next up, Boise State. I had them first.
Yeah, I got them first.
Yep, I've got Boise State as well. I mean, we talked about Degenhart and Stanley, one of the best front courts in the entire country. And yeah, I think they're another team that could be better than last year's Boise State team.
Oh, I
I
agree.
think
I think
I
they're
yeah,
better.
that's what I thought you were. That's where I thought you were going with that, Kyle.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Both teams.
Cardenas, Cardenas, is pretty good. I'm definitely he's
I
not the best player ever, but
Of course.
I
It's
mean,
not big.
obviously saying it, but he did not have a point guard last year. Roddy Anderson.
Ugh.
I mean, to be completely fair to Roddy Anderson, he's never really been a point guard. It was kind of forced into playing something he was not fit to be playing. So can't really take too much off of him, but it just didn't work out. But now they have a point guard.
And then they would try like RJ Keene there, and it was a disaster.
Yeah, and
yeah,
um
the only
Meadow.
the only thing with Boise is I don't think like the depth is fully there, but those
Yeah,
that starting
I see
that
the
starting
vision for the
five
depth though.
the
I
starting
actually
five's
see why this
elite
depth
in
could be
my
good.
eyes.
there could be 7 or 8 guys.
Like
I see that.
I
their
think
their guard
seven
depth is
seven and then eight
questionable.
becomes a question. Yeah, and
There's no
there's
guard
nobody
depth.
in the back court, but I don't know if there needs to be necessarily.
No, I always
I'm
say
in
like
on
too much depth can be a bad thing, especially when, the coaches aren't good with
Yes.
rotations, like having too much depth is you want your starters on the floor as much as possible. I mean,
Mhm.
you want to win games. Um, if you can go 7 or 8 deep and you distribute the minutes well, guys aren't tired, then hell, you don't need anybody more. I always think depth is a little bit overrated in this sport, and I think this
Yeah,
is a
I
great
would fully
example.
agree with that.
Um, I think
But
Boyd.
I would like them to have some better guards.
Yeah, I think a guard depth is always needed, especially point guard depth. That's always something that's a need. Um, and
I
they
mean, yeah,
kind of lack that again, but
Cardenas gave 36 a game at San Jose State last year.
right,
So
he
I
played
like he's
every
More
minute.
yeah,
like off-ball guard. They don't have any off-ball guards. Buchanan,
Yeah,
that's
Buchanan's more of a
the
forward. He's skilled. He kind of did everything at NAI. I don't know how I like him guarding backcourt guys.
he's
yeah.
probably the three there. And yeah, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to depend
But
on
honestly, here's the thing.
Chris
Just
Lockett
like
Jr.
Brian
a lot.
Dutcher can turn in anybody into a good defender, so can Leon Rice. I mean, Leon Rice
Yeah,
is
but
massive.
you can only do so much positionally.
That's true. He's like what,
Like
6'4", right?
no,
Buchanan
he's like
6'7".
6'7" and built.
Nah, okay, so
He can
low.
handle the ball. He can do all that stuff. I just don't know how like
He
quick he
can't switch on
is.
the guards. So
Yeah, that's kind of a little bit of my concern because I could see where they would play him into two because he has skills like that, but he's gonna be really good.
yeah,
I
the
think
thing is, Cardenas and Lockett probably aren't the best defensive backcourt in the world.
no.
So, but again, I trust Leon Rice to make it work blindly.
Yeah, Dylan Anderson
Lockett
though. Or yeah, you can go.
Lockett should be a good enough athlete, I think,
Okay.
too.
Yeah, I wasn't.
I'm pretty sure that was and Bowie's really good athlete too. But
Mm,
Dylan Anderson, I think he's gonna be a really good another piece of that front court.
interesting. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I wrote it down. I wrote him down as well.
I think he's gonna be really good. I think Emmanuel Ugbo is gonna be sneakily pretty good. Had some issues last year or something might have been where he didn't play, but and eligibility stuff. But
It's just a
he's
sat out joined team for
yes, he
spring
didn't
semester.
he didn't get there until
Is Dominic
semester.
Parolin on the team?
Yeah,
He's
ACL
redshirting.
though.
Okay.
I
Interesting.
believe ACL and tear. So yeah, he'll be there next year. Andrew Meadow, I love Andrew
I
Meadow.
know you do.
He's so fun. He's so skilled, but his look is
He's
just
a
caps
very
it off.
unique player. He doesn't look for a shot. He's a distributor and he's very
But he's skilled.
unselfish.
He can score
He can though.
from anywhere.
I mean,
RJ
if I saw him
King.
in the rec center, he wouldn't stand out to me. So
Yeah, he definitely wouldn't.
The game does the talking. Yeah, but their other freshmen are decently well regarded too. So Yeah, kind of definitely like the future of this team. At least like
Yeah,
young
I
guys.
thought after last year and how embarrassing Boise was in the tournament, I was like, I'm never gonna hype this team up again. But then they had a
Yeah.
great portal season. Like they also
Hmm.
bought in good recruits. Like so I have to be in. Like the Cardenas fit had me all in. Like when they got him,
Yeah,
it was like, yeah, this is my best team in the Mountain West. Like they needed a point guard. We preached that all last year, and they got a guy who I think is like one of the most underrated point guards in the sport. I genuinely
Yes.
think that.
Perfect fit at very least.
yeah,
Um,
I'm all in on Cardenas.
he controls the pace. He's a great shooter, great passer. He does everything you want offensively. So.
And he did that on
Yeah.
an awful team.
Right, exactly. And against teams like San Diego State, he would give them fits too. Like I remember watching him against San Diego State multiple times. Like they would have a lot of trouble.
Hmm.
He was never overmatched. Um,
But yeah. Next team up though, Nevada. I have them fourth.
yeah, I got them. I think I got them sixth. Yeah, I'm a little out.
I've
Really?
I've got him fourth as well. I like the 5-man core returning from last year.
That's true.
Um,
They do have a lot
but
of good front court depth for
Yeah.
sure.
I
obviously
mean
you're
losing.
losing your top two
Yes.
guys. Yeah.
That hurts, but like I still really like this team. Like regardless of that fact, like this is like Sanders obviously intriguing. Like Coleman's an elite defender. Nick Davidson is a guy that can really score. KJ Himes, if he's healthy, is like a good big.
I
Foster,
forget they
another
have
like
Dussel. Dussel's a sneaky good pickup.
Giselle could shoot.
Uh,
Brandon Love, I
Yeah.
think, is kind of a sneaky good pickup. Another
I
good
agree.
defender, rim
He was good at
protector.
Texas State. I remember watching him a
Yeah.
bit. He's a pretty
You
good
got
player.
like Justin McBride, Chuck Bailey, a few moderately intriguing sophomores. And
I just think they
obviously
lack a
Rolson.
second perimeter shot creator.
They
Like,
they lack they lack
I mean,
Jared
I don't
Lucas,
think that Rolson
obviously.
can't be like a shot creator.
ah, he was like a game manager, really. Like, he would control
He
the
didn't play
tempo,
enough
great
to like
defender.
he didn't play enough. Like I think
Yeah, that's fair.
Bailey is a shot creator. I don't know how much he'll play, but
Right.
like
I think I don't know. I feel like he kind of has to play some in that backcourt.
Yeah.
Him
It's
and
a
Dussel.
weird backcourt. The front court is amazing, no
Yep.
doubt. You
we'll
got
see if
KJ
Himes can stay
Hines.
healthy. We'll see if Himes can stay healthy.
Right, he never does, but
Yeah.
Davis is
I do think that Yuto Yamanuchi is redshirting this year. I think
okay.
I heard that,
Okay.
which would make sense
Yeah, not a lot of
Yeah.
considering,
minutes.
yeah. And he like committed late. Like he was a Wyoming guy under Linder, and
Um,
then yeah.
and admittedly, I still have a very bad taste in my mouth from last year. Thank you, Steve Alford, for blowing a 20-point lead in 8 minutes to Dayton, a team that doesn't even score that fast. Like, I just don't know how that was possible. I was just in disbelief.
That was bad. That was bad. They
Ugh.
completely melted.
Especially with the scores they had on the. I didn't get that. That was.
Yeah, I don't know how
They deserve
you
to win that
Dayton
game.
Black here and
They deserved
score
to
2
lose
points in the last
because
8 minutes, whatever it was.
With Jared Lucas and Blackshear, that's just unacceptable. There's just no other way.
tough way to go out. But
He's
like
gotta he's gotta respond to he's got to.
all things considered, even though they lost those guys, I
They did a decent job
like what this
rebounding.
team has.
Yeah.
Yes. Good transfer class. Sanders obviously a star, but they got a lot of guys that can be good as well. Then last team, Utah State. I have them sixth.
I got them seventh.
I've got Utah State fifth.
I think yeah, I feel like we're all pretty consensus about them. Like they'll be good. They'll be worse than last year though.
Yeah, the roster is intriguing. I think there's a lot of upside talent here,
Their
with
transfer class is
Housley.
like
We
it's not
need
bad,
you need
but
guys that are
it's
going to give you immediate results though. Like Housley is more of a long-term piece. Dexter
I
Akano, come
Housley was
on.
he,
Um,
he's a good bench piece.
I
Even Drake
guess.
Allen's actually
Drake
decent.
Allen's good. Tucker Anderson, I think we'll see how much he plays.
think he'll
Um,
start over Isaac Johnson at the four.
they like Isaac Johnson. I don't know, man.
Isaac
He,
Johnson like started, but like didn't play like last year
yeah,
though.
he's gonna be
I
their
think that's
five.
how
I think.
I think that's how it works this year too, to be
That's
honest.
that's fair. That's fair.
And
I think
Um,
then
if Tucker Anderson plays, it's probably the four.
yes, he is a four. He's
Yeah,
or
I don't
three.
know. He's not a
he's
five.
like
He's not
he's
a five.
a super skilled four, yeah.
Hmm.
Yes.
And then you put False Love at the three, Martinez at the two, and go from
Yeah.
there.
I mean, yeah.
Or
Both
honestly,
kind
I th
of.
they could start Gadaretsi. Gadaretzi's better than Isaac Johnson. No, definitely. I think
I think
Gadaretzi.
they'll start both of them. I mean, they started Johnson
yeah.
and Osibor.
It's true. They could do that. Yeah.
And then yeah, I think Anderson kind of plays more of the minutes at the four, but
Yeah.
off
Mm,
the bench because that's I guess they didn't really run it like that last year, but
Yeah, they have three bigs who
he,
could
he only
theories.
played 15 minutes as a
If it were
starter.
up to me, like I would have Isaac Johnson be the odd man out. I think he's the worst of the three, but I
but
don't
he'll
know how
start.
confident I
He
think.
won't play the most, but he'll still start. Like
Right.
it's just what they do. It's
It
what they
is
do.
Yeah.
exactly.
I think yeah, the biggest piece for me is Dayton Albury at
Yeah,
point guard. What he can be in the
Yeah.
Mountain West.
I don't know a ton
Darius
about
Brown
him.
was so good. Like he
Yeah.
was so underappreciatedly good.
Oh, so clutch. Like the big shots he
Yeah.
would hit at the end of
I
games.
remember I was
The
watching.
bank
I
against
remember.
Fresno.
The
Yes,
Mexico
the
game.
announcers did not like that shot. I don't know if you guys were watching that.
I watched that one live and like because
Announcers like
it was the Mountain West Network, right?
which is like Fresno's announce. It was like Fresno's
Yeah.
announcers. Yes, they were not going crazy when he hit like the clutchest shot of all time.
The
They were like,
five
"Go
point play
Darius
against
Brown for
UNLV.
three," and
Oh my
Utah
goodness.
State wins. That was so crazy. I think they actually do have some like
That
sneaky, intriguing front court pieces though with Isaac Davis and Pavel
For sure.
Stosic. Davis, I believe he
We're
was a
just going to
BYU
see how
commit, and
Calhoun does
Stosic from
his
Gonzaga.
talent. Are they going to be good defensively? Probably not.
Youngstown State, if I recall, they weren't like bad defensively last year.
They
A
just
lot
had a
of
lot
that
of
was,
athletes in a conference where they were clearly the most athletic team. I would
I
say they were the
mean,
most
they were the
talented,
best defensive team in the Horizon, which like it's the
but
Horizon,
now
but
they're in the
like
Mountain West where you don't have that athletic advantage.
I
You don't
don't
have
think this is a bad defensive team personnel wise.
Godoretsi is a good defender. I think
He's kind of thin,
Martinez
but like
is. Martinez is a good
Martinez,
defender.
Alberry's solid.
Is he? I mean, Queens was so bad defensively over the years. I don't know.
He's
I didn't
like
watch a lot of Day and Auburn and
decently
Queens
athletic.
here. Um,
Yeah, Queen's was bad defensively though.
False Lev's not great defensively. Drake Allen, no. Akano, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see how that works out.
Yeah,
Not a team I hate, but I think they kind of underperform.
I'm really interested to see. Like I'm like
Then
so interested to
again,
see all these Mountain West
they're gonna
teams.
win
Like
games at the Spectrum just because they play at the Spectrum. Like that arena is so insane. They do lose like random games there, but they do really well in conference play there. Like their win percentage there is nuts. So
yeah,
that's how they overperformed last year as well as Sprinkle. So
I mean, we kind of talked like the top three for each of us is like a half tier above the other four, but I still think in conference play, like you said, with how big the home court advantages are, like
oh
it's
yeah,
still going to
four
be
through
really,
seven will
really
beat one
close.
through three, like some.
Yeah.
mhm.
It's like
I mean,
I'll
last year
say.
the 5 point play was the reason there wasn't a four-way tie for
Right.
first.
That was some bogus, you know. UNLV
Yeah,
got hoed in a lot of games last year. There's no doubt about that.
yeah.
They got
This is
San
gonna
Diego
be a
State beat
fun.
too.
How many tournament teams?
This year, I got
I'm a hard
four.
I'm a hard cut at three. I think
Yeah,
a fourth could, but I wouldn't like
No more than
I,
four. I do not see more than four. No doubt.
yeah. Boise, New Mexico, San Diego State are my three
Those
that
are the three
all
definites. I mean, for me, Colorado
well,
State is a
I don't
team
know
I
about
feel better than.
definites, but
That's
like
true.
I don't think any of them are even locks by any mean. I mean, that's obviously
No one's a
preseason,
lock
but
this year. Boise's a lock. I think they're all.
I mean, I would say they're probably more likely than not gonna make it, but like they didn't make it
I think
by
you
too
trust them.
comfortable of a margin
I
last
think
year.
The
I
only
mean,
thing is,
I think they'll
if
make it.
something happens to Cardenas, like
that
I
is
think the
true.
whole team could fold.
Oh, that is very
Then
true.
Julian Bowie season.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, then freshman backcourt. Yeah, you've you've got a lethal front court, but
It's true. That is a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because you never know. Ask Wyoming about injuries.
yeah. Well, and especially when Cardenas is going to play. Yeah, I'm assuming 35 plus
Yeah,
minutes.
he's gonna be
Yeah,
very high usage. At least he was
I think
prepared for
Bowie's
that.
gonna take some of his minutes at point guard though, or not like take some minutes, but like he'll play
yeah.
some
I'd
minutes.
Give him a
But
breather.
yeah, Cardenas will play a lot. Any other notes in the conference? It's
Oh,
gonna be a
it
fun
is.
sort of farewell, sort of like not
It'll
really a
feel like a
farewell, but
farewell, I think. But
I mean, like, not on a national scale, everyone's going to be kind of out of it, but I still think I'm in on watching this conference. Like,
I will
I mean,
be
like I said,
watching.
how can you not be in
not
on watching regular season Mountain West? Like it is so entertaining,
It's
man.
cinema.
I mean, like
Every
Austin
game
and I
is
were
a good
talking about
game.
the Mountain West Network. You've got home announcers on the call, and like it makes it
Free, by
that
the
much
way.
better.
You don't have to pay
Yep.
for it.
Yeah,
It's
like
awesome.
you don't even need like a TV
I
subscription.
just
Just
type
like
in
just like
Mountain West Network.
log in
It's
and
right
watch it.
there.
Pretty sure
So
it's not
convenient.
my favorite tab too. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Hey, it's worth the price.
It really is.
Mountain West Fun Conference. We'll be watching a lot of it this year. So yeah, sure we'll have lots of content about the Mountain West throughout the season. So good good segue to stay tuned for all of our other conference previews. And yeah, turn on post notifications. You'll see all of our other conference previews on YouTube. If you're listening to this on podcast, make sure to subscribe, like, 5 stars would be appreciated, and make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter/X at Hoop Media. Any more notes before we wrap up the most fun conference in regular season, at least?
Should be everything, I think.
The Mountain West Network booked or bookmarked.
Yeah,
Yes,
that needs
it's
to be on the
almost that time of
favorites.
year.
Star it.
Yes, we will see you next time.